Welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast. My name is Paul. I am the Country Hipster. That music you just heard was none other than the Unholy Four and their mega hit Dirty Knife. Find the Unholy Four on Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp, Instagram, and wherever you can find the Unholy Four. Ottsville Record Garage podcast. I sound like I'm from Delco. Oxford Record podcast. Murder Dinner. Ottsville Record Garage podcast specific promo code BABY, 15% off your entire order at ottsvillerecordgarage.com. There is a very special additional if you watch last week's episode, you'll be able to see a very specific updated promo code for 16% off of your entire purchase at ottsvillerecordgarage.com. But you have to, I'm not telling you what it is. You got to go watch the mistake I made last week, and then you will be able to find out what that podcast is, that podcast specific promo code. As you see, the man on the screen to my right, who I think is freezing. Are you freezing, or are you just staying really fucking still?
No, I'm like a sloth.
You're like a sloth? Okay.
Yeah, just move really fucking slow.
It's my co-host and brother Adam. It reminds me of that little Zoom video that like was going around like around pandemic time of like the four people on a Zoom call, and it's got the four different screens, and the one guy starts talking and he's just like, and then the next guy picks up and he freezes, and then the third guy like does the same thing, and then the boss is like, I don't know what's going on here. What are you guys all frozen? And the one guy's like, drinking his drink. And like, I can see you drinking your drink, and like the other guys are blinking. He's like, are you blinking? It's like, yeah, it's pretty funny. But anyway, I digress. Man.
Check that out.
Yeah, what are you drinking there?
Shitty beer, Miller Lite.
Shitty beer. Okay. Yep. So I've actually, oh wow, this is pretty big in alcohol. I decided to, I'm not stopping drinking. I'm just like cutting back. So I'm like not drinking as much. So I don't actually have any like real beer that I really want to drink here at the house, but we had these things. This is they were just in the fridge. They've been in the fridge for a while. This is a Flying Embers margarita cocktail inspired drink. It's a classic lime here. It's a 10% alcohol by volume.
Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It's apparently aged in tequila barrels and crafted with real agave nectar, and it's not very good. It's really not. I don't think I'm gonna finish it. I was like, oh, this will be nice. It has 0 sugar though, so I guess that helps my diabetic ass.
Mine's only 96 calories.
There you go. Let me see what this is 195 calories. So that doesn't help me, but it doesn't have any carbs and it doesn't have any sugar. It does have a lot of sodium though. So I don't know, maybe I'll keep drinking it so I can say like, I'm doing something good for the diabetes. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But, yeah, so we're going to get right into it, man. We are going to get into the factoids of the album. Oh wait, fuck! I almost didn't make another big deal about this. We missed an opportunity when we pulled this episode last.
Oh yeah, fuck, dude! You almost fucked it up again.
I almost fucked it up again, man. Like we really I gotta hand in my fucking 12-year-old sense of humor card, because not only is this season 2, episode 5. This is overall episode 69. That's about all you're getting is good. You know what I mean? So I know, ladies, welcome to the Country Hipster Podcast, episode 69. So yeah, so this is overall episode 69, and we must really be getting old and losing it because I know when we originally talked about, we're like, oh, we got to make some sort of big deal out of it, and it's really, I guess much like the position, it's just kind of disappointing and just there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the idea is better than the actual practice of it. We're going to get right into it. We're going to get right into the factoids of REM, Fables of the Reconstruction. This is the third
reconstruction of the Fable, as if you
I'm
had
gonna get
it
into
right
that,
down the book.
motherfucker. Getting into that. Going to get into that. It's in the factoids. Don't jump me. Don't jump my segments. It's the third studio album by REM. It was released on June the 10th, 1985 through IRS Records. IRS did a lot of the Athens, Georgia bands. Notables are the Go-Go's were on IRS. Not that they're from Athens, but the Go-Go's were on IRS. I believe the B-52s spent a stint on IRS. REM's obviously on IRS. Bunch of really great bands on IRS. There's just three of them, but they're like, look up IRS Records. So many good bands came through that record label. Oh, I think my fucking headphones just connected. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's weird. Okay, whatever.
Sorry, I'm playing with my hair.
That's okay. I'm gonna have to edit a lot of this shit out because it's stupid.
Is REM Georgia based?
Athens, Georgia. They're from Athens, Georgia. As a matter
They're moving
of fact.
to the country. They're going to eat a lot of peaches.
Maybe. Like I did. I actually have 3 peach trees. So this is the first album recorded by REM, recorded outside of the U.S. It was recorded at Livingston Studios in London, and it was produced by Joe Boyd. This is a dark, murkier album with folk elements and sound and lyrics drawing from the Southern Gothic themes and characters. The album...
Is that what you want to call it?
That's what we're going to call it. Yep. The album completed recording in April 1985 and was released that following June, just a few months later. So now here's the thing. The packaging of the album, and this is where it comes down to, the packaging of the album actually leaves it unclear if the true title is Fables of the Reconstruction or Reconstruction of the Fables. Basically, the album itself has 2 front covers, and I'll be showing this up on the video right now. Whereas the one cover, it looks like the front, which would, I guess, traditionally be the front, looks like it's like Fables of Reconstruction, and then the other side, it looks like it's Reconstruction of the Fables. But this does not stop at the packaging and the jacket. It also extends to the labels on the vinyl, which each have it listed different on each side of the album. So there you go. Weird. You can go either way with Fables of the Reconstruction or Reconstruction of the Fables, which is why when I wrote it up on our card that we picked last week, I believe it says Reconstruction of the Fables. So,
well, as per iTunes, it's Fables of the Reconstruction.
Yes, which is also what it is on Spotify. I got to stop drinking that. That's so bad. So I'm just going to open up a boobly.
There you go.
Yeah, but no, it's it is same thing on Spotify. But if you look at the album cover itself, and like I said, I'll have pictures up of the album cover and the labels, so you guys who are watching on Spotify and YouTube can see what we're talking about. Everybody else, you just have to watch on Spotify and YouTube or look it up on the Google machine yourself. In the U.S., the album reached 28 on the Billboard 200. Was certified gold in 1991, which means it sold by 1991 over 500,000 copies. Can't Get There From Here was the lead single, and it did not break the Billboard Top 100. I think it came in at like 110. Driver 8 was the second release, which reached 22 on the top rock charts and became REM's most covered song, including covers most notably by Jason Isbell. And when this band covers your song, now you're all dark again. What are you doing?
I was just trying it out. I took the...
it doesn't work. We can't. Yeah. We gotta see you. We gotta see you. So like I was saying, so most notably, and this Driver 8 was covered by Jason Isbell, and once this band covers your song, you've hit the big time. This song is also covered by Hootie and the Blowfish, which is kind of interesting. So I'm gonna have to look that up and hear that. Wendell Gee, however you want to say it, was the third and final single that was released on the album, but that was only released in Europe, and it was the first song to chart in the UK for REM, which it reached 91 on the UK charts. Critical reviews of the album were all generally positive, but the band had some varying opinions. Bill Berry, the drummer of REM, said it sucked. Peter Buck was dismissive of Driver. What's that?
I'm sorry. He said what sucked?
the album.
Okay.
Yep. Peter Buck was dismissive of Driver 8, saying he could write songs like that in his sleep. But Michael Stipe compared it to the sound of two oranges being nailed together. I'm not sure what that means. But he also said in a 1991 interview it was their strongest set of songs to that point.
I feel like
So,
what I
yes.
want to do is the week that this gets released, we need to get 2 oranges. We need to make a video of us nailing some oranges together.
Okay, I'm cool. I'm down with that. I'm
Yeah.
down with that. We'll have to make that happen. Maybe we can when you're in the garage next time, maybe we can make that little bonus content.
Yeah.
Nice. So those are the main factoids of the album.
I also like to think that the sound of oranges getting nailed together was actually the original title for When Doves Cry, but they changed.
Okay. They changed it to When Doves Cry. When Doves Cry might be a better title for it. So before I get into how I feel about this album, Adam, how are you? How are you feeling about Reconstruction of the Fables or Fables of the Reconstruction, however you want to look at it?
It's fine, for background noise.
Oh wow, it's another fine one, huh?
So the note I have written down is it's a good album, but it's not very interesting at all. And I said it's good background music if you want noise, but it isn't super critical. You're paying attention. That's what I have written down.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm a little surprised at that. So you don't find anything like, okay, so are you an REM fan at all?
I mean, I'm a fan of What's Your Frequency, Kenneth, Losing My Religion, Orange Crush, and It's the End of the World.
Okay, so but those songs, and they're all decent songs, and obviously the later stuff, like I believe all that stuff's like Document or Beyond. You don't think it's interesting to hear this album and hear like how this album is and its sound and how did it get from there to here? You know what I mean? Like how did that? Do you like how I did that? That was good, right?
No, stop it. Don't get me wrong. Like I have a top 3. But I feel like my top 3 are like the only interesting parts of this album.
Wow.
I feel like listening to it, like I would lose track of what was going on, and like I would be like, I was driving. I was literally Katai and I just listened to it. What time is it? I finished listening to it about 45 minutes ago.
For the first time?
Huh?
For the first time?
No. This is probably like the 7th or 8th time.
Okay.
And yeah, like I was like, I just found myself like, it's playing and I just found myself like opening up my phone and like looking on Instagram or playing Pokemon Go. Like, just like, it's just, to me, it's just noise. It's like, it's just something to have in the background so you're not sitting in silence.
Wow.
Aside from a couple songs.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm
Don't
actually
get me wrong.
a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed by you.
I
thought
will
you were
say,
gonna be into this one.
It's good background noise, but on the whole, I find the album very uninteresting.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie to you. When Katai and I were just listening to it, I stopped the last song about halfway through. It's Wendell G.
Wendell G. Yeah.
Wendell G. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I call it Wendell G. So that's what we're going.
I stopped it halfway through because I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't. Yeah. It's so it's not awful. It's just it's back to me. It's background noise, but it's good background noise. Like if this album was playing at work, you'd be like, oh yeah. But it's like to me, it's the kind of thing where like if you're paying attention, it's good, but it's also very easy to ignore.
Yeah, see, I don't get that. I actually don't get that from this
Well,
album
no
at
shit,
all.
you picked it.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like I'm actually really surprised. Like I think I would have been more like less surprised. Like, and I'm surprised at your reaction in general, but I think I would be less surprised if you were like, "This sucks." You know what I mean? Than
Yeah,
just
I
kind of
mean
like
that's the thing. It
indifferent to
doesn't.
it.
It doesn't suck.
Uh huh.
Like there's like I said, I have a top three. I enjoy those three songs. Even the background noise of it is good. Like the
Okay,
musicianship of it is good, but it's kind of a
man,
snooze.
man, wow, wow. You know what? I don't even want to do this podcast with you, bro. Now, I mean, needless to say, I do love this album. You know, it is not my first exposure to REM though. Like we usually say, your first
Yeah,
exposure to a band is usually your favorite. It's actually not. You know, End of the World as we know it, Orange Crush. Those are the songs that I really like, kind of remember. You know, most of REM. But like, so this album, how I got this
Oh,
album, it was like,
real quick.
yes,
I forgot Man on the Moon. I enjoy Man on the Moon as well.
okay, all right, there you go, there you
I
go, all
listed
right.
all their. I feel like I listed their most commercial hits aside from that. So
Pretty much, yeah, yeah, you did.
yeah,
So, you know, like, so the way I came across this album, so I'm gonna say it was Christmas. I don't know if it was 90. It was like 89, 90, 88, 89, 90, somewhere around that point. And so I asked for you know, a portable personal CD player, you know, the one with the tape deck in it and
yeah,
whatnot. Um, and so I asked for that, and then I would like ask for a bunch of CDs because I didn't have any CDs. I had some tapes, I didn't have any CDs, and I'm pretty sure the list that I gave the Skipper, there you go, was, you know, like I put like certain albums I did specifically ask for, but like certain artists I was just like Elvis Costello, anything by Elvis Costello,
yeah.
REM, anything by REM, because I knew I didn't have anything. And I remember that year um, I got the B-52's Cosmic Thing. I got
What was that again? You
Elvis.
broke up the
I got
B-52s.
B-52's Cosmic Thing.
Okay.
I got Elvis Costello, Mighty Like a Rose, and I got this album, Reconstructions of Fable, which I hadn't heard of. It didn't have any of like the hits that I knew of REM at the time, but I didn't care because I wanted anything by REM.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was really my, you know, it wasn't my first exposure to REM, but listening to this album was my first exposure to the album. And I fucking loved it, man. This album, I honestly think this album is what kind of molded me and shaped me into the musician that I am today because of this album. And because it's dark, it's moody, it's well written. It has excellent lyrics and has like some fucking great hooks. You know, it knows it drives the album for me. The album drives, but knows when to slow down. You know, and like the opening riff on Gravity, you know, feeling Gravity's pull, man. You hear that bam, 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 bam,
No.
bam, bam, and it's like that just fucking that grabs, like that was the thing that grabbed me. I was like, fuck, man, what is that sound? What is that? You know what I mean? That like dissonance, that distortion, and like, you know what I mean? And then the little, you know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
that is what like really like that album, that sound at the beginning of that song just grabbed me and kind of like took me from there. And then you know, it just builds and builds and builds, and it comes down when it needs to, and then it just fucking just kind of just lays it all out at the end with Wendell G, man. It's just like it's a great album, man. I'm like I said, I can't believe you're not fucking getting this, man. Yeah.
Am I super dark again?
You're not as dark.
I'm just trying out different lighting things because, like, right now, like I'm computer sitting in front of me. The light
uh
is obviously to my left because this side of my face is more illuminated than the other.
uh
So this is with the computer in front of the light.
okay, yeah, that's not bad.
This is which is better.
Well, that one you're all like you know, yeah, probably a computer in front of the light,
Okay,
probably better. Yeah,
I will
that,
adjust
that
my position.
there you go, there you go. So, but Yeah, so you mentioned the stuff that you like, right? Some of that like later stuff, Man on the Moon, What's Frequency, Kenneth,
Yeah.
even Out of Time. So I remember when Monster was coming out, right? So this was after Monster was the album released after Out of Time, and REM said this is going to be our return to rock album, right? Um, and I was really excited for it. I was really hoping that it, because I love Out of Time. I actually do love Out of Time. It is a departure from when you look at Document and Green, especially this album and Murmur and Reckoning and you know what I mean. Dead Letter Society, I think it's what it's called. When you look at all those albums and you think about it, and you're like, okay. And I think Out of Time was definitely a you could see where it was going. You could see how they got to Out of Time. But Out of Time was really like more of a departure, more of like a folkier type of version of REM. So when they were releasing Monster and said, this is going back to our rock roots, I was really excited. I was really hoping for it would be something similar to this. But in my opinion, it wasn't, with the exception of Drive. The first single they released off of Monster was Drive. And when you hear that song, I can hear Drive on this album. So that got me excited. But then I heard Kenneth and I'm like, this isn't, this doesn't do it for me. So I was a little disappointed on that. Which is probably why I didn't really follow a whole lot of REM like after Out of Time. Like I think I got a little disconnected to it. And then when Bill Berry left the band, I really just didn't, didn't get into anything after that. I'm not big on Automatic for the People. I even like tried to give it like another couple shots and it just doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, man, this wow, I can't believe you're so indifferent to this album.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm sure, and it might be, I don't know if it's just like the way I listen to the albums. Like I listen to the albums a lot. Like majority of my listening to the albums is when I'm driving.
Right, me too.
So like I'm wondering if that kind of has a play into it. Like I'm more focused on driving than the album, or or that the album has to really do something to stand out while I'm focusing on driving.
Right.
And to me, like I said, it's not bad. It's a good album. But it's very easy to ignore.
Wow. Yeah, no, see I think that's the part that I'm not getting. Like I can get like the whole background noise and whatnot, but like I don't, with the way this album is, like, if you went track from track, like I don't know how you could ignore this album. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing, like, because there's so much going on, so many different like I'm gonna look up the tracks real quick. Just so much different instrumentation, so many just different things that are happening just throughout this album. I mean, from song to song, like you got that beginning of Feeling Gravity Pull, Feeling Gravity's Pull, where it has the riffs and kind of the dissonance throughout, to Maps and Legends, which like with some fucking great harmonies back and forth, to like the fucking hook of all hooks with Driver 8, then it speeds up with Life and How to Live It, and it's it gets you going again. The Old Man Kenzie, which is another kind of like bringing it back a little bit, but still like a good song, and then fucking punching you in the throat with Can't Get Here From There. I mean, maybe Green Grow, The Rushes, and Kahutek. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Maybe I could kind of see that, but it brings you back again with Auctioneer. Like I don't get it, man. I don't think you put your homework in on this one. I'm gonna call bullshit on you on this.
So I'm just from listening to you just in that little diatribe you just went off on. I think you'll be pleased with when we get to our top 3.
Okay.
But again, like I like, to me, like those 3 songs that I picked were the only ones that, like, while driving I was able to go, oh, something's happening here.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I guess we're all different. I mean, we can't all be Steel Train.
Yeah,
right.
True.
I mean, is that, yeah?
We can't. We tried, but what did they say? Often imitated, never equal.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Um,
So go ahead.
no, I was going to say we've talked about it on the podcast before. You just recently, well, not recently, but relatively recently, um, you saw what's the name of the band that you saw that is the members of REM?
I was going to get into that. That was the Baseball Project.
Baseball
I
Project.
got
I know it was
I got to see
baseball.
the,
I couldn't remember if it was
yeah,
Project though.
yeah. I got to see the Baseball Project, which is a very interesting band. It has Peter Buck and Mike Mills from REM. It has the singer of the Young Fresh Fellas, and a couple other people who unfortunately I can't remember their name or the bands that they were in, but it's basically like kind of like a super band, like a super like alt rock, indie rock type of band,
Yeah.
and all of their songs are about baseball in one form or the other. It's not just like a cool like catchy. We're just going to call it the Baseball Project. No, every single song is about something with baseball, whether it's a player or a game or like a World Series competition. Like just so much, just about it. So Peter Buck and Mike Mills. I think Peter Buck was an original member of the Baseball Project, but I'm not 100% sure. Mike Mills at one point wrote some songs for him, but wasn't a member of the band. And then like a couple albums ago, actually joined the band. So last summer, the end of last summer, I got to go see the Baseball Project at World Cafe Live in Philadelphia. And I got the fucking pleasure of meeting Peter Buck and Mike Mills.
Not only
After
did
the
you get
show.
the pleasure of meeting them, but you also won a test pressing, didn't you?
No, that was a different show.
What
That
show was
wasn't
that?
even no. That was we talked about that on the Dead Milkman episode. God, that's
No,
so like
no, we
last
did,
season.
but that's. I could have swore you said. I could have swore it was the Baseball Project.
Nope.
Who was it?
Joe Jack Tackle from the Dead Milkman. Yep.
Listen,
See, you know what? You
I
never pay attention. You don't do your homework.
no.
I feel unloved here. I feel unloved.
Listen. I had a
I'm
barbecue
listening.
today. I've been
That's not an
drinking.
excuse. It's not an excuse. I don't care. I don't care. We drink all the time on this podcast. You're usually a lot sharper.
Yeah, but I usually start drinking when we start recording. I've been drinking since like 2:00.
Nah, it's all good. But no, I did have I did buy a record from their merch stand, and I did have them autograph it. All the members of the band did autograph it. What I did get too, though, maybe this is what you're thinking of. What I did get was part of one of their set list. So I
Maybe.
have
Yeah,
that.
I knew you got something special from it.
Yeah, and they did sign the set list as well. They signed the set list and the album, and even the drummer like wrote a little note like this was our encores and like dated it, and you know what I mean. Like that was like I got like somebody's like last page of their set list, which had like
That's cool.
2 songs and then their encore songs. But I never have gotten the opportunity to see REM, unfortunately, which is very unfortunate. And they are one of those bands that I would pay stupid money to go see them. Like I know I always say like I have a limit on what I would spend on concert tickets. If REM were to get back together, which they're not, we'll get into that in a second, but if they were to get back together and do like even a couple shows that were like open to the public, I would 100% like. I don't know that I would have a top price on it, to be honest with you.
No.
Like I mean, I'm sure I would pay stupid money to see them now.
I don't have any bands that I would pay stupid money to see them live.
Mm-hmm.
But I would pay stupid money to see bands from a specific era of their career.
Well, in that time though, or now.
That's what I mean. Like, if I could remove myself from now to go back to the era of that band,
right,
I would pay stupid money to see that.
Right.
But like, there's no band that I could think of where like, oh, if they get back together,
REM's that band for me. Huh? Yeah, no, REM is 100% that band for me that I would do that. Right. And they recently did somewhat reunite. They were recently they entered the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and there was a whole thing up in New York, and they got up. Excuse me, and I know they did because I saw the video. They did they performed all 4 original members performed "Losing My Religion," and I want to say they performed a couple other songs, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But they definitely performed "Losing My Religion" And it was great. But they did say in an interview, because I saw another interview, like, I think it was like on like Good Morning America or some shit, one of those shows. I did see them talk about, and they said, hey, would you guys consider getting back together and touring again? And emphatically, and they were like, no, we
Yeah.
will not do it. We won't do it. They're long time friends. And I guess I think they even said in the interview, like, our friendship is now back to the point where we can at least agree on a place to go for dinner.
Yeah.
And that's a big step for us, because I would think too, when you're doing that, and like ultimately what you're looking when you get to that point is you are looking at, like, you're a multi-million-dollar business and almost like a corporation, and you know what I mean. So even if you're really good friends with your ultimate business partners, it can definitely cause some stress in personal relationships. And I guess when they walked away from it, and Bill Berry being the first one to leave the band after he had his aneurysm, and the other three went on. I guess when it gets to that point and you kind of realize, like, man, I don't really fucking need the money anymore, and you're just done.
That's a funny thing. Like, in my head, REM is a 3-piece.
Yeah, so you're an idiot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, in my head, it's just like, yeah, it's guitar, bass, and drums. That's it. Like 3 guys.
Well, yeah, but you're also
what I mean. It's a guitarist, a bassist, and a drummer. It's 3 guys in my head.
Right.
I don't know why.
And then Michael Stipe, one of the most notable frontmen ever.
Yeah.
Who doesn't play an instrument and just sings.
In my head, he just plays guitar.
No, that's Peter Buck.
I know. But
I'm telling you, man, you did no fucking homework on the.
No. Listen, Linda.
I'm listening.
I know in my brain that it's not a 3-piece, but for some reason, I just always assume that it is.
No. Wow. You know what? All of your opinions for this album are just out the window. I am not trusting anything you say about this album. This is still going down, but like, you don't get an opinion on this album. You're done. Shut up. Don't say another fucking word. You know what? Maybe
I haven't badmouthed this album.
Maybe Tom is right. Season 2, we're mailing it in.
I'm not. Listen, Linda. Listen. I don't know why, but for some reason in my head I always think of them as a 3-piece. But it's a weird thing, like, because I know for a fact they're not.
Right.
But in my head, it just makes more sense to me as a 3-piece.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay, I don't. Yeah, I mean, they were and especially with the albums that you're talking about, that the like after, when they got to the point when Bill Berry left the band, they only marketed the 3 of them. They only marketed Michael Stipe, Peter Buck, and Mike Mills.
And maybe that's why in my head I think that.
Yeah, possibly, because they obviously they toured. They did do some touring and recording with a drummer, but that drummer was a hired drummer. They were never an official member of REM. I think even on whatever albums they put out post Bill Berry, it even says REM is, and it just says the 3 of them.
It's kind of like Green Day. Green Day, I think as of right now, I think Green Day is officially 4 members.
Okay.
I think they finally started recognizing, like, their touring guitar player. Because I don't know if you've ever seen Green Day live, but when they play live, Billy Joe hits like 1 note, and then he just runs all over the fucking place and never plays guitar again.
Well, he's playing. When I saw him, he was playing the whole fucking time. And when I saw him, the 4th guy was only in and out. He actually was not on stage the whole time.
When I saw them, it was the exact opposite. The 4th guy was always there.
Okay.
And Billy Joe would play like the first 10 seconds of a song, and then he would just be doing crowd work.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess when I go see them this month, I'll see if that's the case. But no, when I saw them, it was most of the show was just the 3 of them up on stage doing their thing.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, they recognized their touring guitar player as a 4th official member of the band.
Well, technically Pat Smear was recognized as a member of Nirvana too, but that doesn't make Nirvana a 4-piece.
It's true.
You know, so, but yeah,
It's an
no. So
unfortunate
yeah,
thing.
that'll be interesting. I am interested to see if that is the case when I see them this month, because I am going to see Green Day and Rancid and unfortunately Smashing Pumpkins, but I will also see the Linda. So 3 out of 4 ain't bad as far as the concert goes. So I am interested, and I will report back as to how much guitar Billy Joe plays or doesn't play.
I also remember Billy Joe. He just like 83% of his stage presence is just saying the name of the place that he's playing at.
When did you see them?
I saw them tour American Idiot. Jamie took me.
Yeah, no, and you hadn't seen them after that?
No.
Because when I saw them wasn't that long before American Idiot that I had seen them, because I went with Zach and it was over at the Tweeter Center or whatever the hell it's called now, the B&B Pavilion or whatever, and like that was not like I will tell you that his stage presence was absolutely phenomenal.
I can't remember what episode we talked about it, but you've talked about his stage presence.
Yes,
on the
and
podcast before.
They were one of the best live bands I've ever seen. That's why I actually became a Green Day fan, because like I knew them and like I liked the song Brain Stew, but really wasn't a Green Day fan until I saw them live, and I was like, oh my god, they're fucking good. And well, you were also what, like 12 when you went to the American Idiot show?
Probably somewhere around there, 12, 13.
I don't know, man. Can you really have?
I just remember him saying Philadelphia a lot. And then him kind of doing like almost like a Freddie Mercury-esque, like not singing the actual lyrics, but like singing the melody.
Okay.
And getting the crowd to mimic him singing the melody, like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it had to do with the set list. Maybe it had to do with the, what they were doing with American Idiot, which also
it may also have been the fact that like the album was fairly new. And like you're counting on the fact that maybe the audience hasn't had time to memorize all of the lyrics from your new album,
right?
So maybe you just find workarounds to get the audience to sing along. But yeah, we digress. REM,
definitely a 4-piece band, and probably one of my all-time favorite bands ever. And this is probably my favorite album by them, and I know when like I was putting my and it's funny because I say that, but like I was going through when putting together the season 2 records. I had a list of about 20 albums at first, and this album actually was not on it. And it didn't make it to season 1, but before I finalized anything for like my 10 albums, I just sat there in front of my my collection again. I was like, fuck, wait a minute, how did I fucking miss this album? Which I guess, which can happen sometimes. So that way, I pulled it off. Like I said, it wasn't even on my original list, and I pulled it out and it jumped on here because it was one of those like,
I actually had a moment like that today.
Okay.
Katai and I were cleaning up the apartment because, like I said, we had a barbecue earlier for just a bunch of the neighbors, like all cooked different shit, and we all came to my apartment. And I put an album on, and I was like, man, I should have included this on season 2.
No, we'll probably have a season 3 unless we completely mail it in. Like with episodes like this, you're not even doing the research.
Listen, I did the research.
But your opinions are wrong. This is one of those things. Your opinions are just wrong.
Assholes and opinions, Paul. Everybody's got them.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's cool. Like, I definitely, like I said, this is a great album in my opinion. You're just like it's background fodder, it's noise that you could do without. It's all right. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So, Go on.
Don't steal my fucking segue.
Oh well,
So I'm about this album. You're sucking this album off hardcore.
I am, because it's a great album.
What does that sweet baby angel upstairs think about it?
So she likes it. But there's a very specific thing that she actually likes about it, and that is Mike Mills' backing vocals and harmonies throughout the album. So we were listening to it
So can I
today.
pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Why is it okay that Regina has specific things she likes about this album, but it's not okay for me to have specific things I like about this album?
Because she overall does like the albums, but more
I
specifically,
didn't say I didn't like the album. I said it's a good fucking album.
You're
I
like,
said
it's background
easy to
noise.
ignore.
I can't get into it. It's just boring and blah blah blah.
I said
It doesn't
it's
grab my
quote,
attention.
It is a good album, but it's easy to ignore.
Oh, see, that's the thing. You know, that's like saying you're a good boy, but I'm going to ignore you. Did you say that to your son and see how he likes it?
I do.
Oh, okay, all right, cool.
Called parenting. but Regina enjoyed the album.
She enjoyed the album,
enjoyed the backing vocals.
Yes, especially Mike Mills' backing vocals and harmonies, because anytime he came in on the choruses or like the counter melodies, just throughout the album, like that's when she would actually start singing. She would start singing with Mike Mills, so that was kind of cool too. I've always liked the Mike Mills stuff. He didn't get a whole lot of songs just to sing throughout REM in general, which makes sense because you have Michael Stipe who just sings. So why would you have give up too many things? But I know there was at least a song on Out of Time, and I think there might have been like a couple just like throughout the years of REM. I just can't think of any of them off the top of my head that he did sing, but it's probably one of the best like singing bass players out there, because his bass stuff was very I wouldn't say it was like super crazy, like intricate, like John
I will
Ennis
say,
or anything like that.
while listening to the album, very much like Violent Femmes, it makes sense to me why you like this album, because it was very bass forward.
Yes, and it is, and that's the thing. And he's very melodic with his bass playing, and he's very
I didn't do my homework. I fucking know. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry that I just don't agree with your fucking opinion.
You're supposed to. It's the Country Hipster podcast. I'm the Country Hipster.
That's the motherfucker.
I just got to get you back for Violator. I got shit on too much for Violator. Nah. But no, he's very melodic with his bass playing. It doesn't just do like a root or a root fifth or anything like that. It's very, very thought out and very, very musical what he does. And there's a lot of bass players like we talked about it on the Of Mice and Men episode, where it's just like, why do they even have a bass player? You know what I mean? Like, they don't need it. They're not doing anything. And there's a lot of bass players like that. That's why I think bass players don't get a lot of respect, and a lot of them don't necessarily deserve respect. Because
I think that's why I think bass players are essentially a meme at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. And it's just it's also why in that movie, The Thing You Do, the bass player's name was TB Player.
He never
bass player.
He's never properly named.
Yes, yeah, and the bass player who they named, what do they call him, like the Wolfman or something like that? Yeah. They actually mentioned him by name because he could play the fucking bass and like showed them like, oh, okay. So, but no, back to the Regina factor. That makes I have 2 likes. Tom has 1 like. The listeners have 1 like and 1 dislike, and Adam has 0 because we have not picked any of Adam's albums yet.
I said to Katie Katai earlier, I'm like, I hope to God we fucking pull one of my albums, because I had fucking Haley's bullshit. I had that fucking Fleetwood Mac bullshit.
Yeah, that was crap. Yep.
And then luckily I got fucking Buffy and License to Ill, and now I got this bullshit. I mean, again, that's harsh. Not bullshit. Background noise.
Okay. All right, background noise. The background noise. Man, I really, like I said, I would have been less disappointed if you said that you hated it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, really, I'm just like, oh God.
Who knows? I'm not. Maybe it's a fungus album. Maybe I just haven't given it enough time.
Maybe. Adam, I will tell you this. Listen, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Just disappointed.
It works.
So, what are your top 3 songs?
Top 3. Hold on, let me grab my notebook.
Yep.
Top 3. I got Driver 8, Life and How to Live It, and Auctioneer. Another
engine.
Another engine. A quotation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Or
all right.
parenthesis. I can't read my own writing.
Nice. That's okay. That's okay. No, good choices. I do agree with your choices. There's a very good songs on there. This was okay. So my 1 and 2 were very simple for me to pick because I already knew what they were before, like even looking at the track listing. I knew what my 1 and 2 were, and that is Driver 8 and Wendell G.
And I said earlier, Wendell G. The last time I just listened to this album, I fucking turned off because I was just tired of listening to it.
So I love the lyrics of Wendell G. It also has like some personal meaning for me as well. So that's why it's kind of like, that's one of the songs that sticks out. I love the banjo in that song. It was probably the first time I remember hearing banjo in a rock song. At the time, and I had heard this. I've heard a lot of it since then, and other bands who were doing it also at this time. But like, hearing that, and then again when I delved into the lyrics and whatnot, it was definitely it jumped up there. I wouldn't say it was always one of my favorite REM songs, but it definitely is now and holds a very, very special place in my heart. So now that Driver 8 right away was also the first. I remember sitting there with Sean from the Unholy Four. We were like, 13, 14 years old, trying to like learn how to play guitar. And somehow we stumbled onto the riff of Driver 8, like playing it. Mm-hmm. So it was one of the first things on guitar where I learned how to play a riff off of something on that I was listening to on a CD. Yeah. So that was really cool. Plus it's just a great fucking song that, you know what I mean? But that riff for Driver 8 definitely fucking pulls it. And then my number 3 is Can't Get There From Here, but I do have an honorable mention of Auctioneer. So that was and that was the hardest thing because like I could have gone a lot of different ways with my third song, but I ultimately settled with Can't Get There From Here, and the honorable mention of Auctioneer. So what is your least favorite song besides Wendell G?
Can't Get There From Here.
Okay, well, so what is it about it you don't like?
So, I honestly going into at this point, what time is it? At this point, an hour ago, I didn't have a least favorite. I was just kind of, I have 3 songs that I like, and the rest are just kind of, there.
Okay.
And then fucking Can't Get There From Here ended, and I was like,
disappointed.
Jesus Christ, this is fucking annoying.
Okay, so the more you drank, the more you disliked the song. Is what you're saying?
Maybe it's that too. Maybe I can't drink while listening to these albums anymore. But yeah, like just listening to like and I apologize to Regina because she appreciates the backing vocals so much. But the main and the going back and forth between the main and the backing vocals just was, I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, just goddamn end, Jesus.
Okay, all right.
So I'm gonna go Can't There From Here. Can't get there from here for my least favorite.
Okay, cool. So my least favorite is Good Advices. I like the song. I think it's a decent song. But if I were to take a song off of this album and it not affect the album, I think Good Advices could go and it would still be just as good of an album to in my opinion there. So I do that's probably the one where I'm like okay I could do without that. But again, I love this album. Like that was another thing. It was kind of hard for me to figure out like which songs don't I like. Which I do like them all. And it kind of came down to if I were to take something off this album, what would it lose? Would the album lose its lore? And that would be the one that I could take off and still love this album just as much. So let's get into the Discogs value, and I'll show you too what we're talking about here. Again, if you're watching on video, you'll see this, and also I would have already shown it, so Adam can see it. So if you look at the sleeve, so that's the one side, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the other. Now, this version has the barcode on it, but I don't think original pressings necessarily had a barcode. So that basically looks like 2 front album covers, right? There's no track listing or anything like that traditionally on the that you would see that definitely differentiates a front and a back. And again, if you look at the sides, which is either a side and another side, if you look at the labels, which is can't see it because of the light and the white label. But at any rate, it has Reconstructions of the Fable written on the one side and Fables of the Reconstructions written on the other. So what I have here, and I'll say where I got this album. This album was the first brand new factory sealed album I picked up for myself when I started collecting vinyl again, which was like right around in like 2010. That's when I started, like, I really started getting back into vinyl and collecting different stuff. And this was the first brand new factory sealed record I bought, and I purchased it from the world famous Princeton Record Exchange in Princeton, New Jersey.
Nice.
So that was exciting too. I went there and I bought like a bunch of used records, and then I saw this and I got it, and I bought it for, I think it was like $35 at that time. It is a 2010 remastered 180 gram pressing. And like I said, I paid like $35 for it. The very good plus vinyl on this copy I have here is $60.05, jumping it up to $61. So I got a good pickup there. I made
I would say, I think one of the most interesting things about finding the Discogs suggested retail value of the album is that when we can remember what we paid for the album.
Yes. Yeah. Just to see if it's either gone up or down in value. Yeah. That's that. I do like that as well. Unfortunately, I don't always remember. But no, I do. I appreciate that as well. So that brings my running total to $253. The listener's running total of $116. Tom's running total of $57. And Adam, your running total is you are not even taking part in season 2. We have not picked any of your albums.
What was the value of the Buffy album? Like
$195.
Fuck you. Can you do me a favor and please fucking pull one of my albums?
We'll see what's up.
Just so I can do something more than just show up.
Here's the thing. I just realized, man, I don't know how we could have talked about REM this whole time and not given some special attention
to
our mascot.
I was waiting.
Mr. Michael Stripe.
Michael Stripe.
Michael Stripe, not to be confused with Michael Stipe from the band REM, which is actually the singer of REM, which puts how many members in the band if they just have a guy who sings?
This many. For all you just listening, I held up 10 fingers.
Yes. I think Haley could have gotten it right more quicker than you. But yes, Mr. Michael Stripe here, and I'm gonna reach into the box of Mike, and we're gonna see what we pick for next week's episode. It should be interesting. All right, is it going to be an Adam? Is it going to be? Do I get the first hat trick? Oh, I grabbed 2 on accident, so let me drop one. Drop that one. I don't know what it is. All right. Will I have the first hat trick? Will Adam finally get a record? Will be another listener? Who knows? Booze and vinyl? We don't know. We know it's envelope.
It's the magic of the podcast.
We know it's envelope 16. And let's see if Adam's going to be happy. Well, I think you're going to be happy. I don't think I'm going to be happy. Because next week, we are covering brand new The Devil and God Raging Inside.
Fucking finally, we get one of my goddamn albums, man. Jesus.
All right. Brand fucking new.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it more in depth next week, but I feel like you might enjoy this album more than you enjoyed Deja Intendo.
So I didn't hate Deja Intendo. I think Deja Intendo.
That's what I'm saying. I know you didn't hate it, but
it surprised me. I expected to hate Deja Intendo.
Yeah.
So this is another album on this season where we're covering an artist who we covered in season 1 as well.
Yes.
Last week was or a couple weeks ago was the Beastie Boys Ill Communication, which we covered Check Your Head in season 1, and now we have brand new The Devil and God Raging Inside Me. And last season we covered brand new Deja Intendo.
Yeah.
I will say I did find the Deja Nintendo, I found the one song that I started playing in my solo show, which I still keep fucking up the bridge, so I'm not really playing it that often.
Yeah.
So I really sit down and figure that out. But I mean, I there were definitely redeeming qualities of Deja Nintendo. I didn't hate it. I didn't I wasn't even indifferent on it. I'd actually go say I liked it. I did not feel as if it was just background noise. I'll say that much.
I say
I showed it some respect.
I heard someone once describe Brand New as a pop punk band that grew up and became a pretty interesting indie rock band.
Okay. All
and
right.
I feel like this is more of that. This is like their first album is. We'll talk about it, but their first album is very much a pop punk album, and then they've just progressively become more and more of an indie rock band as they progressed. So I feel like you might enjoy this. It's an interesting album.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because, like I said, I didn't dislike Deja Nintendo. I'll even say that I like Deja Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it definitely, but if this is much more indie rockish, I probably will like this a lot more because, like, even though I did like Deja Nintendo, it's not necessarily a style of music that I necessarily gravitate to.
Yeah.
Even though I was pleasantly surprised by it and did overall enjoy Deja Nintendo. So you get your first one. You get your first pick.
Finally.
Oh,
it took you in?
What's that?
No, it's 5 weeks, right?
This is our 5th episode, so it's this is
so it's 6 weeks in.
Yeah, 6 weeks in. It took you 6 weeks to get your first one. So, and you can start defending your big D like seriously properly. Just Snoop's wearing it since you're not here.
Snoop is wearing it in my absence. He looks good. You look good.
Yes, I think it's.
I say not only is Snoop's fucking decked out, dude. He's got the Pop-It wallet, and he's got your party hat on. He's fucking he's decked out, dude.
Can I just say it's probably more fitting that Snoop's wearing the big D than either one of us anyway?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. We'll just go with that. So, so I have nothing else to say about this amazing album by REM that Adam just finds as background noise. But Adam, do you have anything else to say about it?
Same thing I'll always say. Just listen to it and form your own opinions.
And just keep it on in the background.
That's what you think about it, yeah. What I'm very interested in seeing is the Gen Z opinion of the album, which I haven't listened to the 2 new videos that Megan posted, but I have to watch them later on.
And I'll be posting more. Like, I think that's going to be something that we're trying to post like every Monday or so, Monday or Tuesday. And I think she's basically sending me over like 2 videos at a time.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what we're talking about, a friend of the podcast, Megan, who was on a random record episode last season of the Goo Goo Dolls, Dizzy Up the Girl, has some YouTube exclusive content on the Country Hipster podcast, where she's giving her Gen Z opinions of the albums that we covered in season 1. And that's going to kind of be an ongoing thing because, like, it's, 64 episodes and fucking, we started doing season 1 before Adam was born. And, and since Megan's Gen Z, she probably wasn't even like a thought of yet.
Yeah.
So when we started,
a glimmer in her dad's eye.
Yeah, exactly. So it is pretty interesting to hear her takes on some of the albums that we've covered, and so no, they're really good. She's doing that there. So check out Country Hipster Podcast on YouTube for that YouTube exclusive content. What's up? You got something else to say?
I forgot to tell you a story.
Oh, you got a story? Okay,
I do have a story.
Okay.
I was at work the other day, and a guy that I work with, I said something to him about having a podcast. And he's like, "Do you have a podcast, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What's it called?" And I said, "It's the Country Hipster Podcast." And he's like, "Oh, is it on like Apple Podcasts?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can find it on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever." So he left work that night, and he's roommates with another guy that I work with, another guy that works for me, and he texts the guy that works for me and goes, "The podcast is really good, but do they click a pen the whole time? Because I'm not going to listen if that's the case." And I told him the whole story about Kristen bringing us silent fidget toys and everything like that. I was like, yeah, that was a complaint we got. We tried to correct it. So I just want to give a shout out to Caleb. Thank you, Caleb, for starting to listen.
Yes.
I apologize for the clicking of the pens.
Yes, as also better. Like I didn't have the fidget toys out today, and I'm probably clicking my pen a lot through this episode as well. So that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So if we have nothing else. All right. So next week is brand new, The Devil and God Raging Inside Me. This is Adam's first pick of season 2. And we'll go from there. It should be a good one. All right. It's time to